Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. My name is Joseph Sangle. We're fired up to help you each and every Monday with some right now relevant information to help you in your financial journey. Today, we're going to talk about a very sad topic. But it's also one that hopefully you'll be glad that we talked about it. Sad, not glad about a sad topic. To help me dig out of this mess that I've started out this podcast with, I want to welcome my co-host, Megan Hibbert. Are you fired up? I would love to look at the playback on how you're staring at me.
I don't even know what you just said.
I just sad, glad, not mad, call your dad, something.
Yeah.
All the ad words.
Everyone doesn't.
This is not an ad.
Doesn't even know where to go with that.
The very uplifting topic that I'm going to talk about is that we're all going to die. Isn't that very exciting?
Podcast over.
Yeah, podcast is over. But I know it's a very uplifting topic not to talk about here on this fine Monday, but we're really talking about what?
Yes. So today we're talking about handing off your finances and financial information when you do die.
Right.
Wah, wah. But
long time from now.
Many
Decades from now.
We hope. But just so that you are prepared, your family's prepared, and everyone, you what you need to know, what you need to pass off.
I've had the moments of sitting with people who've lost people, whether they knew it was coming or not. And when people have a good handoff of their finances, it takes away one of the large burdens and allows them to focus on the grieving process, more focused. And so that's what we're going to talk about, is having that stuff in order. I know it's not uplifting, but it's wildly important, especially for those that you love. You don't want to leave them with a big, giant financial fiasco. And so we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we're going to go to one of my favorite sections, the podcast. You know what time that is. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The Monday Money Tip Podcast is sponsored by the Fully Funded Life Membership Program. The Fully Funded Life Membership Program provides all you need to begin winning with money and live a fully funded life. Fully Funded Life includes 4 key components: courses, challenges, coaching, and community. Courses provide financial education. Challenges help you make massive progress in a specific money skill. Coaching is provided by the Fully Funded Life Certified Coaches through open office hours held multiple times each month. All of the courses, challenges, and coaching results in an outstanding community that help equip, motivate, and encourage you to take your next financial steps toward your fully funded life. Fully Funded Life. Courses, challenges, coaching, community. All that's missing is you. Learn more and receive a special offer for Monday Money Tip listeners today at fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's www.fullyfunded.life/MMT. All right, for today's current money events section, we're talking about inflation. Do you like my sound effects? My goal. Will you do that? Will you do that sound while I talk about inflation?
The whole time?
No, every time I say the word inflation.
Okay.
Or if I say go. Okay, let's try it. Go.
Whoop.
Excellent. That's awesome. Okay, so then my inflation tracker is getting shorter. Whoop. It's got to be a little more projected.
Sounds like a clown.
My totally non-scientific, non-government approved, self-proclaimed awesome tracker is a sheet of 7/16 4-foot by 8-foot OSB sheathing, also known as plywood.
What does OSB stand for?
Oriented Strand Board.
I just wanted to know if you knew.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
OSB, Oriented Strand. I wonder how many people knew that. If you look at it, it's chipboard. Yeah. It's what they use our chipwood from our pines for. And I purchased some in February of 2020 prior to the pandemic, and it cost me about $7.50 a sheet. But we had a pandemic happen.
We did.
And when the pandemic happened, it caused inflation.
Whoop.
Excellent tapping. And all of a sudden, it just kept going. And by April 22nd of 2021, I decided I would start issuing my totally non-scientific, non-government approved, self-proclaimed awesome tracker on my social media platforms. And the price was $37.45, a whole increase of almost $30 a sheet.
Yeah, that's wild.
Get fired up. Just 10 days later, on May 2nd of 2021, it had went up another 80 cents to $38.25. And just 25 days later, May 27th of this year, it had went up, inflation had went up $44.20. Another almost $6, $5.95. And what I loved is, I was checking this on Lowe's, at our local Lowe's, and I'm not beating up on Lowe's. It happened at Menards. It happened at Home Depot. It happened at GBS. It happened at every single lumber yard in the nation, is that this inflation was happening, and that if you bought, you got a 5% discount if you bought like 160 sheets.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? And so I kept tracking it, and all of a sudden, the bubble top was hit, and it started deflating. Whoop! Did you see that? Do you want to do that sound too?
I didn't agree to the deflating sound.
Well, that's very deflating. $37.45. So it was back to where it was in April, 3 months earlier. In August 17th, it was down to $22.65. Woo! Did you like that? And on October, when I pulled this up, right as we planned for this, we're recording this for November 8th, it was $17.55 a sheet, which seems like a bargain, except for when you think that it's $10 more than it was.
Yes.
For many houses, this lumber increase was adding $10,000 to $30,000 to the build cost of a house. So my guess for when it drops below $10 a sheet, you can look on Facebook. I posted this on July 26th. I believe, and still stand by, I believe it will be less than $10 by February 2022. So keep tracking. I've noticed inflation on lots of things. Yeah. I've noticed on the KFC $5 fill-up box. Don't tell my cardiologist. But the KFC $5 fill-up box is awesome. It comes with 2 pieces of dark meat, a leg and a thigh, with their 11 secret herbs and spices. It comes with a thing of mashed potatoes and gravy. And it comes with a biscuit. And it comes with a chocolate chip cookie sitting on top of the blazing hot not mac and cheese. My kids want mac and cheese, but the mashed potatoes and gravy.
It's on top of it?
It's nice and soft. It's on top of it. Keeps it nice and soft.
But not like in it.
Not in it.
Okay. I was like, that does not sound good.
That would be like, the sound would not be whoop or whoop. It'd be ew. Okay. So anyhow, you also get a drink for this, and it was $5. Well,
I remember the commercials.
Now it costs $7.50.
They had to redo all their marketing.
50% inflation. Those chickens are running hard, and they have to run faster to get them or something. Gasoline. Duh. Cars. They're selling for $10K more on average than they were a year ago, if you can find one.
About to say, our car lots here are all empty.
So they're also empty in Virginia, where I was recently. They're empty in Indiana. They're empty kind of everywhere. So inflation, whoop, is happening. And so I thought I would report on that on this current money events, whoop, section.
Yeah.
You like it?
That was lively.
Memorable.
Memorable. Well, I think all of them are memorable.
I shall drink coffee out of my camo limited edition Yeti mug. If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see such things.
Maybe I need some more
Maybe
coffee.
You should subscribe to YouTube if you're listening to this. So while you read a success story.
You want some music in the background? You got your eyes closed.
Yeah, I'm listening to music in my head. It'd be nice if we had some reflective piano music.
What? Okay. So we have a success story today from our friend, a fully funded life member.
Araceli.
Yes. We are excited that Araceli is a part of Fully Funded Life. And they said, I attended an FLE in 2015 and was skeptical. After some research, I attended another FLE, and that's our financial learning experience that Joe does at churches, years later, and became hooked. I read every book and listened to every podcast and anxiously await for a new one every Monday. I began with a 40-day budget challenge in the fall of 2018 and have been budgeting every month since then. I have worked my way up to rung number 4 with the snowball effect and have paid off my truck, camper, and car. One more thing to pay off, hopefully by March, and I move to rung number 5.
That's awesome. Yeah, way to go. The truck is paid off, the camper's paid off, the car's paid off. I mean, I don't know what the total payments were, but that's That's got to be close to $1,000 a month being freed up.
I don't think campers aren't cheap.
They are not cheap.
Yeah.
And they are all awesome. And there was a run on campers. Speaking of what we're talking about with inflation,
Can't find a camper.
Get to say sound effects outside of it. But this is awesome because, I sit there and I know people are skeptical because all of us, especially if we've been going a ways on our money journey, we kind of have stumbled around. We've been stuck, at least I had been, for 6 years. And you're wondering what could help you because we fancy ourselves smart and intelligent, and we wonder, how come we wouldn't know that? And then we listen to it, and it sounds really basic. You should have a budget every month and follow it. You should give some, save some, invest some, plan the rest. Sounds pretty basic. Pay off your debts. Stop signing up for more debt. But really, the big challenge is accountability. The big challenge is self-control, diligence, and personal discipline. And when that gets moving in the right direction, the same thing that prevented us from making progress, as Araceli has witnessed, is the same thing that will help us stick with it. And so you're on your way all the way to Rung 9 in that fully funded life. Thanks for taking the time to write that in. We celebrate your success. That's why we do this.
Yeah. And completing Rung 4 is like a really big deal.
It's a big deal.
I think most people love to once they finish Rung 4, they're like, I'm good. We still have, obviously we have 9 rungs, so you're not good after 4, but 4 is like the big milestone for a lot of people where they're like, okay, I can do this. I can keep going.
It's the big hinge point or the pivot point in your money journey.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's awesome for Araceli. All right. So our topic today, in case you forgot, the beginning of this episode, I'm not sure how you could, we're going to talk about handing off your finances and financial information when you die.
Okay. So I'm going to set this up. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Bill payers. Are you a bill payer?
I am not.
All right. You're not? Jordan pays the bills?
Jordan pays the bills.
That's awesome.
It is.
Jordan, listen up. And all other bill payers, listen up. You fell over dead right now. Bonk. And it was an amazing thing. You defended your entire family from a grizzly bear. And you saved their lives. And they're going to create a statue for you. But you fell over dead right now. What happens to those you love? Who knows where the bank account and insurance information is? Where are the passwords? What are the passwords? What other important accounts do you have? Like, think about retirement accounts, college savings accounts, investment accounts, real estate accounts, real estate information, right? Who should contact who? Who are the people that need called? What needs to be done? Even more importantly, do those you love the most know just how much they meant to you? Okay? So that was for the bill payer. Did you feel the tension? I could feel it. Like, oh no, that's horrible. Okay? So let's set up another scenario. Are you married to a bill payer? You don't pay the bills. Your bill payer dies right now, defending you from a raging bull. You were out in the pasture just playing around, and the bull came up, and he'd been sharpening his horns, and it's Ferdinand the bull, and he was very mean. Okay? So what do you do?
Stretch.
You're okay.
But we'll go.
Jordan's not a bullfighter?
No.
I thought he was a bullfighter. I thought that's what he told me.
I think he could do anything.
He's a bullfighter. It's awesome. That's what he does over at the rodeo.
At the rodeo.
So if you're married to a bill payer and you don't pay the bills and the bill payer dies right now, what do you do? Who do you contact? In the midst of unfathomable grief, sobbing, unable to move, collapsing on the floor, fainting, crawling around sobbing and blubbering and not even remembering the next 3 months. What bills need paid?
Yeah.
Because they don't care. When do they need paid? Are you named as a beneficiary on accounts that are in your spouse's name only? Ooh. Well, if you've got some questions about that, well, we're here to help today. So let's talk about things you absolutely, positively must have prepared. So Megan's going to share them. I'm going to be the color analyst. Go.
Yep. So the first one is account list. So I'll write off a couple and then we'll go into them. So investing accounts. So maybe retirement, brokerage, college accounts. Maybe you have bank accounts. Well, hopefully you have bank accounts. Checking, savings, maybe money market account. Is there life insurance? If there's not life insurance, go back and listen to the episode on life insurance. Debt accounts. So mortgage, auto loans, and credit cards.
Yeah. So you need a list of all your accounts. That's just pretty straightforward. And I think we should kind of have a checklist that we're going to give for people to download in the show notes, just to make sure you don't miss these, because I think a lot of times we don't even remember, oh, yeah, we do have that account. And we do have another account. And the average person ends up with 8 to 12 accounts. I mean, a checking account, a savings account, a health savings account. You have, another savings account at an online bank where you keep your known upcoming expenses savings. You have a life insurance policy or two. You have these debt accounts, and it adds up. And so once you have your account list, think of all the different accounts, and you list who these accounts are with, and even the account numbers, or how how are they identified. Then you need the next part. What's that?
Yes. So the next part is the access list. So it doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you know what the account is without knowing how to get into the account. So maybe passwords, PINs, websites, codes. Is there safe access, a bank safety deposit box? Maybe is there a certain attorney or banker that your spouse always uses that you need to contact?
Yeah, these are people. And so I think it's important that we kind of go through these. So one of the most important ones is a phone password. Like, a lot of us, we use our face to open the phone now. Well, they're not going to be, they can't use their face.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever stared at your phone with your eyes closed? It won't open. So the eyes need to be open, and not to be a little weird, but let's be weird. We sitting over there holding this dead person's eyes open. I hope not. That's going to be so weird. Don't do that.
So morbid.
So, I mean, it's horrible. It's terrible. I don't want to think about it, but they won't be able to look at their phone and unlock it. Let's just be practical here. So you need to know their passcode. You need to know that.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of spouses are weird about that. I would ask, why are you weird? What are you hiding?
I look at
Weirdo.
Jordan's phone all the time.
Yeah. My wife knows all the codes, and she logs into them, and she doesn't have social media, so every now and then she gets my phone and looks at my social media.
That's what Jordan does for mine, too.
Hilarious. I need to know what's going on. What's going on over there? So anyhow, you need to know that passcode, because even if you know the passcode, today, before we were doing this, I was updating my net worth sheet, because, I teach people to do that, and I do mine occasionally. I haven't done mine since July, and here it is 3 months later, and some things happened. I accidentally bought a farm and accidentally bought an office, and then I I don't know. I needed to update it.
Yeah.
And so I was updating it, and it keeps doing this 2-factor verification. I logged in. I successfully had the right login and password, but it's over there saying, I'm sending a code to your phone.
Yeah.
Well, I am me. Why do I have to do this again? Well, it's because a lot of crooks are out there. Yep. So you better have access to that phone, is what I'm saying. And if you can't access your spouse's phone, you need to have a very rigorous conversation as to why that can't be. Okay. Well, we'll have a special
episode
on your spouse won't let you access their phone. What do you do? But anyhow, you need that. Passwords, PINs, websites, codes. Is there a safe? Do you know how to get into the safe? Is there a bank safe deposit box? Who are those people? The attorneys, the bankers, the insurance, the bakers. I don't know. I said bakers. Did you see that?
Bakers?
I don't know. Maybe you need a special cake.
Maybe.
At the funeral.
At that point, you probably would.
It's really weird. But anyhow, you need your account list, and you need to access them. This should be written down. I don't know where. I have mine written down electronically. And there's a file with some other passwords that lock that file down.
Yep.
And Lord help me if that doesn't work out, right? Because I have 87 pages of passwords in a Word document. And that's not one password per page. So, I don't know. You need to have the access list, and the surviving special someone needs to know where that access list is.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. The next one is hidden valuables. So maybe they're buried, or maybe they're frozen, covered, or shielded.
I wrote this smiling, knowing that Megan would have to share that. Hidden valuables. But it's real.
Yeah.
People bury stuff. They bury money. They bury gold. They bury silver. If you buried some valuables, you need to let this person, you need to know where they're at. And if you say they're 14 steps from the old oak tree, they don't know what 14 steps are because
maybe you should get a ruler
they
out.
can't stand you up like weekend at Bernie's and make you walk over there.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Your
this
steps
episode
might be shorter than mine. I always have people tell me slow down when we're running through the airport because I'm walking, but I notice they're like trying to keep up because I walk fast and I have a larger step for some reason. And are they frozen? People freeze credit cards. They freeze money.
Like in the freezer?
Yeah. In the freezer. Because if a crook is coming in the house, they're probably not trying to rob frozen meat. Although with the price and the inflation,
maybe they would.
They might be stealing your meat, and they'll find it. Is it covered up by something? People put stuff behind paintings. Mm-hmm. They might have a little wall safe behind a painting. So, it might be shielded. By shielded means something weird is shielding it. I don't know how shielded is different than covering. That's why I'm struggling here.
Yes.
Don't mock me. Whoop!
I think it'd be cool if you had like that bookcase and one of the books, you pull it down and it turns around in
I do have
secret compartment.
I have that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really
But you
neat.
can't tell people you have it because now they'll know.
Well, it's in my office. You can go guess which book. There's 7,000 books.
There are a lot of books.
Keep pulling them off there. Make sure you just put them back. They're organized by last name and by what it's talking about. Okay? So, hidden valuables. So, you need to know hidden valuables. Some people this doesn't apply to, but it's weird. We're all weird. Hidden valuables. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's another one?
All right, the next one is beneficiaries. So, are your named beneficiaries on investments and insurance policies trump your will?
That's right. Many people do not know that. That when you set up your 401k, maybe years ago, you named beneficiaries. Those beneficiaries trump your will. When you set up a simple IRA, you named beneficiaries. You were not married.
I was not married.
So you may have named a sister or nieces or nephews or parents. Mm-hmm. So do you know for sure that Jordan is named? She does not know exactly.
I'm like 90% sure we updated it.
She updated it because we did talk about this a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But it's very important.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who set their retirement plan up 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 17 years ago. They had a change in marital status.
Yeah.
And they still have that previous spouse named.
Would be unfortunate.
You want to talk about a very interesting reading of the will when everything goes to their children or their beloved current spouse.
Yeah.
And they find out that the 401k that's worth $321,000 has one beneficiary named, and it's their ex-spouse.
Yeah.
So, if you're driving and you have some history like that, some relationship changes, you got married, you were single at the time, you got married, you unmarried, that's very important that you name your beneficiaries to align with what your wishes are, what your will is.
What about if your beneficiary passed away?
Well, it depends on how your will is written. Is it ex stirpes or per stirpes?
Did you make that word up?
No, that's Latin.
Really
and basically it means, I think I'm right. It basically says if it's written one way, then if that person who you did not want to get it, but they're named, if they've passed on, predeceased you, it goes to their heirs. Oh. It's split among their heirs. The other way, I think extirpes is what it's called, is where, hey, they're gone, so that line's cut off. It's divided by the remaining surviving heirs.
Interesting.
Usually equals a bunch of lawsuits.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you say that word, it sounds like you're saying burpees.
Burpees?
Like you're doing
Which
like exercise
burpees. Just as horrible. Okay. All right. So we've talked about an account list, an access list, those hidden valuables, and your beneficiaries being named properly. Let's do a couple bonuses as we wrap it up.
All right. So the first bonus is handwritten letters. So to those you love.
Yes. So handwritten letters, and I've shared this in a few events, and I'm not amazed, but it always catches me off guard how emotional this becomes in that moment. Because I tell them, hey, imagine that you've passed on and everybody is in grief. There's a reading of the will, and everybody is handed a handwritten letter from you. And it shares how much they meant to you. This is not, it could be a grudge. You could be mean with these letters. I'm not saying that. I'm saying,
took a turn.
We have an attorney friend who tells us some of the crazy things he's seen, like, to my niece who always asks that I mention her in the will, you are mentioned. Have a nice day.
Oh, gosh.
Ooh, a little venom in that.
Yeah.
So, but imagine if you wrote letters to those that you love the most, your closest friends in life, your family, if you have children, your children. And one of the last things that happens is a handwritten letter from you. It's very meaningful. And so we call these letters of gratitude. And so I really do encourage you to write these letters. They're very, very important. It's very emotional to write them. Very emotional. One more bonus.
Yep. So the last one is a letter of instruction.
So, and this is a link, a great link I found from a website called elderlawanswers.com. So for old people, but elderlawanswers.com. And it says in this letter of instruction, you should list the people to contact when you die. We've shared that. And a list of beneficiaries of your estate plan, the location of important documents, such as your will, insurance policies, financial statements, deed, and birth certificate. I don't know why your birth certificate, apparently that's important. A list of assets, such as bank accounts, investment accounts, insurance policies, real estate holdings, and military benefits. Okay? We've covered most of these. Passwords and PIN numbers for online accounts, and I'm going to add your phone. The location of any safe deposit boxes. A list of contact information for the lawyers, financial planners, brokers, tax preparers, and insurance agents. A list of credit card accounts and other debts. A list of organizations that you belong to that should be notified in the event of your death. For example, professional organizations or boards. Instructions for a funeral or a memorial service. Instructions for distribution of sentimental personal items. That's very important.
Yeah.
Dad has one gun. There's 6 sons. Who gets the gun?
Sounds
we
like
talked
you
about
have.
that. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we included the little sauce pig.
The piggy.
The piggy. And you put that in the episode, I think. Right? Yeah. You can see a picture of it if you watch on YouTube. And a personal message to family members. And we got a link to that for that letter of instruction. It can reduce stress greatly. Okay? So that's it on this not fun, bad, sad, call your dad, but very important. It's very rad.
Maybe you should call your dad.
Episode.
Talk to him about it.
I talked to him yesterday.
Oh.
He's awesome. All right. Give the verse for the day.
Yes. So the verse is Psalms 90:12, and it says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom."
Right. So we need to number our days, and that way we can gain a heart of wisdom and use them wisely. For our next episode, we're going to talk about how to find a deal.
Who doesn't like a good deal?
Yeah. And so we're going to try our best to help you become a better deal magnet so that you get the deals. And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can do it by quickly rating the podcast, leaving a review. That helps other people discover the podcast, helps us make it better. And if you've implemented one of our tips like Araceli, share your success stories with us by emailing it to us at info, that's INFO, at iwbnin.com, or the contact form, or any of our social media platforms. As we go out of this very weird, awkward, whoop episode, you have any last words?
No, I think Thanksgiving's coming up. It's not an exciting time to talk about it, but maybe you be together with your family.
Oh, that's really important. That's very good. This is a great time to have those conversations. You'll be with family. Speak to them about it. Always talk about maybe a famous person who's passed on recently. Hey, so-and-so, you see they died? Yeah. It got me thinking. And let that start the conversation. Awesome. And so have a great Monday. Get fired up. Do something this week to take your finances to the next level.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.